The MoneroTopia guest segment is sponsored by Cake Wallet. Store, send, receive, and exchange your Monero and Bitcoin safely on iOS and Android too. Cake Wallet is open source, and you always control your own keys.
Yeah.
Hey, there you are. Heard you loud and clear. Yep.
Nice.
Hashtag just Linux things.
Yeah. I don't know. It was the browser. I had to restart it.
I have to do that every so often. If I have to restart Pipewire for any reason, then I have to restart all the applications that actually use Pipewire, or else I won't pick up my microphone or outputs. Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, doing good. Thanks. I wanted to be. I'm glad. I'm honored to be a guest again on the show.
Yep. I know we've had you before. I think once or twice at least.
Just once. It was for the Havino showcasing.
Ah, yes, that's right.
So I don't know what you want me to showcase, but if you want, I can give some background on me.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us what you do, what you're about, how long you've been in the Monero community, and how you got to Monero.
So at first, I started my blog, whose link you can see in my bio here. I started this blog as a hacking write-up thing. So I used to be a big, hack the box player, where basically I would showcase how I hacked into servers, basically. So that was my first passion. And then after some time, it got too repetitive, and I decided to switch up my passion to something else. I moved on to sysadmin topics like self-hosting mostly, where I would showcase, hey, here's how you can have your own, Google Drive replacement like Nextcloud and something like that. And I would showcase just about anything, any service you could host at your own house. And that was the second passion I had. And after some time, so it occurred to me that just privacy was not enough. Like I would see on the news like the governments would become more and more tyrannical, more and more authoritarian, and I decided to dive into OPSEC big time, and that's now my main focus and passion actually, where I decided that the blog would become about privacy first, then it would be about anonymity, and lastly it would be about deniability. So that's the three goals I now chase on the blog. And I try to I try to bring some quality in the blog I'm maintaining, where you can't just go on the streets, and you can't just tell a random guy, hey, use Monero. Like they don't know what you're talking about, and they don't know why they should use it. So I have a methodology as to how I write those blog posts, and that is I always start with the why. Why should you care? Why should you care about installing Linux? Why should you care about using Monero? Why Havino? Why XYZ? It always starts with why should you use it, right? That's the first thing I try to cover, and I try to do that extensively so that everyone gets to know the full background on why we keep talking about freedom tech all the time. And afterward, once the why has been explained, I tell the audience, here's what are your options. And out of those options, here's the best option. And then after the why, there's the what. After the what, there's the how. So in this how section, quote unquote, I showcase basically how to implement, how to set up your own Monero wallet, how to install Linux, how to set up Havino, XYZ. That's the main methodology I try to keep up with on the blog. So it takes a little more time to output some blog posts, but it's well worth the effort, honestly. The overall quality of the blog, I mean, I've had some positive feedback, even though I don't have much visibility. But yeah, that's the general background on the blog. Yeah.
Yeah. So regarding like the why, I think that's definitely the hardest thing to communicate to some people, because a lot of people, like what we would call, I guess, air quote normies, they don't really care about privacy, and they also don't they don't know why you should. They don't realize. So what's kind of your go-to when someone's like, it doesn't matter, or they see everything already anyways, or when they just simply don't care?
So when you have to explain the why to someone, for me, you need to tell them a little story, because if they don't relate to the why, you you missed it. My way of doing it is you basically you tell them a story, right? So you tell them, hey, is it okay for you if your annoying neighbor just stops by and looks at what you're doing in your bedroom? Like, is that okay for you? And like most people would say no to that, right? So they understand afterward, after you tell them that story, that okay, you want privacy then. You want to install, you want to install some blinds on your windows, right? So that the neighbor can see what you're doing, right? So in the same way, that's one way of doing it. I think you give them a story that they can relate to, and then you make a parallel to it, to what's in your computer. So in this case, your computer is the bedroom, and the annoying neighbor is whatever company tries to spy on you, like Microsoft, like Apple, like Google. These are the big players, but you get what I'm saying. And once this why is solid, you can go ahead and preach the word. So that's my methodology.
Yeah, usually I just ask them if I can put like a live streaming camera in their bathroom, and usually like 9 times out of 10 the answer is no.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but the thing is, if you start with, hey, install Monero, that doesn't work. Like you need to explain why they should care first. And for Monero specifically, it's private digital cash.
I think Monero is actually a pretty good gateway into like privacy pilling people, because it's really easy to say that Monero is what people think Bitcoin is. And almost every single time I've explained how Bitcoin actually works to people, they're like, whoa, that's totally not good. Like, why would I want to do transactions on a public ledger and everyone can see how much I currently have in my wallet? So that's really easy for people to understand, is that like financial privacy. So I think Monero is a really good gateway into like actually like people understanding privacy just in general digitally.
Yeah, you first need to explain the concept of privacy. So that's the first thing I try to do on my blog. If you don't mind, I can share my screen, by the way, so I can
go ahead.
show it. Share screen. To browser. Allow. Let me know if it's visible.
Yep, got it.
There we go. So basically, the blog is structured like this. We first go over the basic concepts, what are privacy, anonymity, etc. And we go about the general practice of operational security, where I basically explain here's how you segment your internet uses. Like you have public use, you have private use, you have anonymous use, and lastly, you have sensitive use. And so I try to do it gradually. So first we start with privacy. What is privacy? Why is it important? Why you can't trust closed source software for privacy? What is encryption? And then getting started. How to install Linux, how to install Graphene, how to install OpenWRT. So it's not there yet, but it's on the way. How to use SimpleX for easy private chats. How to set up KubesOS. And from there, it goes on and wraps up its difficulty. The second part is where we showcase how to achieve anonymity. And that's the biggest part of the blog right now. I decided to go really in depth into it. So we go over what is anonymity, why it's important, and we go over why phone numbers are compatible with anonymity, etc. How to use Store, how to use Monero, and in here, that's where I think the audience here might be very interested. Like, why is financial decentralization? Why is it important? Why should you even use cryptocurrencies, exchanges, and all that? Of course, the meat of the subject: how to set up your own Monero wallet, how to use Havino, and since last time I showcased Havino on the show, I only had the first one, so it was direct fiat to Monero transaction, but face to face. And I wrote the rest like a few weeks afterward, I think, where I basically showcase how to do the other main fiat payments, like bank transfer for Monero, peer to peer, anonymously. Same with cash by mail, and I have some more also, like. Yeah, that's a recent one I got completed.
You gotta get XMR Bazaar on there, man. Teach people how to
True.
buy and sell directly for Monero. That's a good goal, right? We want people just opting out and using this stuff.
See the number 4 here? It's planned. So in this one, that's planned. I want to showcase how to get your first Monero. When you don't have Monero to start with, you only have fiat. How do you get your first Monero, right? So that's where I plan to showcase XMR Bazaar and and other options as well. But yeah, I already mentioned XMR Bazaar a few times in some of my blog posts, and I even have a listing on Monero Bazaar, actually, because on this blog we accept contributions from other people. And they received from 10 to 50 euros per new complete blog post. And I've been paying already more than 10 to 20 contributions since I started. I mean,
very cool, man. So wait, people contribute to how does it work? I'm rewarding 10 to 50 euros in Monero for people that come and write blog posts. Very cool.
Yeah. So basically, I have this project. Let me show you quickly. Blah blah blah. Project board. Yeah. So I have this project board where I listed all the blog posts I want there to be written on the blog, right? And I listed them, first in the to be brainstormed section. Then we move them to be assigned, then move them into doing. So that's when I assign, the blog post to someone. And then it's to be reviewed, and then it's completed, and that's where I send the payment to the user.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's an easy way of getting some Monero if you are a technical person and you can actually convey your knowledge to the noobs out there.
And what's the easiest way for people to find it? What's the link? It's just an onion link?
You can go on blog.nowhere.moe, and that's the previous domain it used to be. But now recently we moved to a darknet only architecture, where as you can see, it's an onion link. But let me show you. Blog nowhere Moe, and as you can see, it basically redirects you to the onion link instead. And there you go. So you need the Tor browser to be able to access it, but once you're in it, you can see all of the links
Very cool.
there. And recently, since we moved to the darknet, because the reasoning is actually that when you are talking about privacy and freedom tech in general, you want to reduce your attack surface as much as possible. So for that, one thing you need to understand is when you have a website that is on the ClearNet, if the government acts wild suddenly and decides to take down your website, they can go on to many different places. Like they can go to the registrar, they can go to the cloud provider, they can go, they can go wherever, and your attack surface is very wide. But when you are on Onion Link instead, they have no registrar to subpoena, they have no cloud provider to subpoena either, and they have to find where the website is. So if they don't know where to shoot, where can they shoot? That's the idea.
Do you think by making it Tor only, it harms the visibility of your blogs and the ease of access? I understand the point that you're going for, though, is that by forcing everybody to go to the Tor, that's the one that they save. So in the case of like if people just use the ClearNet version, it gets taken down. Well, that's it. They might not have had the Tor link, the Onion link saved, so they don't know where to go. But do you think it might hurt the visibility for people who are new, who aren't already using Tor, or might not feel like installing it?
I'm very glad you mentioned that, because that's the main issue of the darknet that I'm trying to solve with my recently launched project. So it's called the Darknet Lantern. So in short, it's a search engine for the darknet specifically. The thing is, on Onion links specifically, you depend on people running their list of links to be able to find those websites. So the main idea of this project is to organize this discoverability and visibility issue for Onion websites. So for example, XMR. Here you can see I listed the XMR Bazaar and some other links on my Darknet Lantern instance. And for instance here, the idea is you list basically Onion links yourself, and you can categorize them differently, like blogs, chat, collaboration, etc. Let me show you. So I have already listed a few of them. Like I have some blog posts, some communities that are only reachable via Onion. And the idea actually is, if in case if this entire instance is taken down, the idea is to have a web ring, and the web ring at the end is basically, for example, a web ring is basically you have one website that goes to many other websites. It goes to many other communities. And the idea of joining a web ring is that your community gets to have the cumulated visibility of all of the other participating communities. And the thing is that in the darknet specifically, you may run your own community with an Onion link, right? But you may not be aware that there are many other communities, many other small communities that are also running the same Onion, Onion only, architecture. And that's my project right now. I'm trying to solve this visibility issue by, you need to have a Google for the darknet, right? You need to be able to search for Onion links, and so that's what I'm trying to solve here.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. So the goal is that you've got, like, I'm guessing, if I'm understanding this correctly, is that there's dozens of other people that are also part of this web ring, and they all give each other some data, or they all like have the same data.
So basically, for now, I'm the only one in this web ring, so I'm trying to getting started. But the idea is to have as many people as possible from different communities, and everyone in this web ring, they explore the darknet just like I'm doing. They list their Onion links, and the thing is, by participating in this web ring specifically, so they will be displayed here. The thing is, by participating in it, every other web ring participant gets to automatically have, they can automatically get the links that they are listing. For example, if you participate in it and you list 20,000 onion links that I didn't have, automatically with a Python script in the backend, I can just automatically get them and list them in the unverified links section, and then manually I can verify them, and then they move up to this other section here. So these are all the websites I have listed and used in the past, and I just verified them, and if there were a phishing link to appear in this part here, I could also blacklist it and make sure that it's not seen anymore by my community, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and also the goal here is to de-demonize the use of onion links, because I know that there's been a lot of bad press regarding Tor in general, because it's outside of governmental reach, like they don't like it, they say, it's for evil people, whatever.
Many such cases, right?
Yeah. And in the same way that you guys are trying to de-demonize the use of Monero with Monero Bazaar, I'm trying to do the same thing, but with onion links, right? So I went ahead and make this bold move of going for this darknet only infrastructure. Like, you can only reach our services via the onion link, but we're trying to lead the way here. Like, we're here to solve this issue. Like, we want this visibility problem fixed, and in the long run, if it works well and goes along the roadmap I envision, you'd have a Google for the darknet in the end. Like, you have many people, like a decentralized search engine. That's my idea. Like, you have a set of people, set of communities that just search the darknet for you, and you can just join in and have all of their links at once. You can verify them one by one if you want, and in the end, you also participate in this discovering the darknet, for everyone else.
That's really cool. And so if someone like me, if I wanted to become a part of this web ring, what would I have to do exactly? Obviously, I'd have to be hosting Tor and have a Tor website.
I wrote the tutorial at the end here. How to set up your own instance. Let me show you. So again, following my methodology, as always, I always go with the why, then the what, then the how. So I first explain why it's important. Like, you may have your own community that's isolated somewhere here. I have mine here, and we don't know that each other exists, So this is why it's important. You want to be able to know where to go, basically, in this huge dark forest that the darknet is. So blah, blah, blah. And then I go over how to install it step by step, what it's like. And then how to maintain the list of links, with the Python script in there. In the end, it's just CSV files in the backend. Like,
just transferring CSV files between each instance.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I also made sure that there was no, I tried to pass, malicious inputs in the CSV files, and I also added the safety measures in place to make sure that you can't just put a reverse PHP shell in there. It doesn't work. Like, you can't just pass PHP code in there and try to make it run on other Lantern instances. No. I made sure of that. And like I said, we moved to a darknet only infrastructure that goes also with the Git repositories. You just need to go with the link also. You have to use TorSox to be able to Git clone the project, and then you can access it. Yeah.
Cool. And I'm assuming that if your instance receives some new links, those ones will be unverified, and each person has to manually verify the links for their own instance, right? Okay.
Yeah. The thing is, the reason why that is because you need to think adversarial a bit. Like,
somebody could just give a bunch of totally bogus, like you said, phishing, malicious links.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a good practice to have.
For example, if someone were to join the web ring and then they list a malicious XML bazaar link, then if you automatically verify it, that's dangerous, because then your community thinks that, oh, okay, this link is endorsed by this community. I'm going there now. I trust it. No, you should not trust it. You should not trust random links coming from random people. So that's why I make this distinction. Like, I didn't verify those 2 links myself. I know they exist, but I didn't verify them. But Monero Bazaar, I know it. I verified it, and for my community, I tell them, hey, you can go there. I verified it myself. In the end, they should also verify it themselves. But at least within your own community, you can have some trust there.
Yeah. Is this a project that you kind of started yourself, or is this based off of something that already existed? It seems like it's quite a project.
Yeah, all by myself.
Wow,
It took
it's really cool,
me.
man.
It took me, I think, 1 month and a half to really get it to this maturity, and I released it last week, version 1.0. So we still have a roadmap anyway. Where is it? Roadmap. So yeah, I also listed the future versions that what I want to have in there. So there's the refactoring and simplifying of the Python scripts, X and XYZ features, and ideally in the long run we want to have I2P support as well.
Yes, I know I2P is becoming a lot more popular, but still is not quite as accessible.
Yeah, on my blog recently, there's been some discussions about it, but the thing is, I want to justify it over Tor. Why should you use I2P instead of Tor? So once that blocker is gone and we have explained it, I'll go and dive into it and showcase how to use I2P, all the same. Okay, and I also have the XML Bazaar listing for whoever wants to contribute. So just go in the Simplex chat and I will answer to you directly.
Is this like a job listing? A work? Yeah. Wow, cool.
Yep.
So Nihilist will pay you to write good OPSEC blog posts. Obviously, it's got to be good. Don't be sending him rubbish. And probably need to be like a security researcher. But there you go. That's pretty cool. Using XML Bazaar to give people some work.
Yeah, I really love that.
In short, if you can explain, if you can explain your technical knowledge for the masses, and dump it down a bit, for people to understand, I'm all for it. I've had a few contributors that are, they are not there yet. They can't, explain for the noobs. That I need to correct it a bit. But some others I can just read in diagonal, and I know they nailed it. I've got some really good contributors so far. But yeah, we still have some work to do, and I'm looking forward to paying more Monero for more blog posts.
That's awesome.
Beautiful, man. Yeah, we're looking to add a Reddit kind of blog section to XMR Bazaar itself. Maybe once we do that, you want to help us make it into something awesome where it becomes a good resource.
Sure, yeah. If you want a forum, right?
Yeah. We haven't really decided on what the format will be of it, but yeah, it'll essentially be a forum.
If you want a forum, you can go with Discourse. I think they provide a solid forum, solution. Let me find it. I don't have it showcased on my blog yet, but you can find it easily. I mean, they've seen a lot of communities spin up a Discourse instance for their forum, for their own community. I think Tor Project has it. Let me find it quickly. It looks like that, by the way. Yeah, that's Discourse.
Okay.
Yeah. So in case if you want to.
Yep, we use Discourse for our Cake forum too. I definitely recommend it. It's kind of the go-to for open source forum.
Okay.
Yep. In any case, I motivate everyone out there to run their own websites using onion addresses, and really, like you don't need ClearNet at all. Like if you decide to participate in the WebRing project, Darknet Lantern, I don't think you'll see much of an issue getting visibility in the long run.
Did we add a onion address for XMR Bazaar? I know that we were going to.
You don't have it. I checked it.
Okay. Yeah, we I don't know why he didn't do that, especially being Anarchio, the guy he seems to be very Tor oriented.
Well, it'll be a very easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Tor is very easy to set up.
And by the way, Darknet Lantern also supports ClearNet links, as you can see in the bottom left. So it's not like Darknet only and fuck off. No. It's also ClearNet also, if you want.
I mean, adding it as a Tor link, what does it really achieve? Obviously, like if you're hosting the website, right? If we were anonymously putting XMR Bazaar out there, but for allowing people to access it via Onion Link, I mean, I guess it provides security in that way. That
gives them more privacy.
Gives them more privacy when they're interacting with the website.
It's different. It's first a matter of simplifying the architecture. Like to have a ClearNet website, you need a domain. You need most likely a VPS. You need to, maybe if you self-host it, you need to port forward from your home router. You know, the last discussion we had with Arctic Mine on the previous show. And if you want a website on Tor, you simply need a device, internet access, and Tor. Easy. You don't need anything else. You don't need to pay a company. You don't need to pay for a domain. You don't need to pay for a server. You need electricity and a device.
No, I love that. But like for us, right? Because we're obviously always going to have the ClearNet version of XMR Bazaar. So what is the benefit? It has to be the benefits really to the visitors, right? So what's the benefit to the visitors if they're interacting with XMR Bazaar via
the benefits?
Tor?
The benefits for the visitor is that they can access the website anonymously.
Right.
And it comes down to reducing the attack surface and allowing the client side to reduce their attack surface as well. And just remaining anonymous when they use XMR Bazaar in general.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'll remind Anarchio to put that out there. But yeah, XMR Bazaar would never be like, a Tor only. I mean, we want to be really accessible to people. And then obviously we're not ourselves hiding, who's behind the project or where it's being run or, anything like that. Let me ask you, man, I don't want to assume things here, and I think you may have said it in the past, but I don't know if it's just an accent, but what do you think of the recent legislation that's being put forth in France with regards to banning mixers, and it seems like they're describing Monero as well.
They're paranoid over here. Like they want control. They want to do everything to keep that control. And frankly, I've seen it coming. Like it was only a matter of time. And I see them ban. In France, and yes, I'm French. In France, you, as a business, you are forced to have a bank account. Like you have no choice. You are forced to have one. That says a lot. They want control from the get-go. And once you have a bank account, you are made vulnerable to their legislations. And that extends to the users. That extends everywhere. Like they are heavy on regulations and heavy on punishment as well. And
what is the actual current state? I wasn't totally clear on what. So was that legislation fully passed? Is this something that's being proposed? What is it actually saying? What are the actual real world effects? What's the state?
I'm not familiar with it really, but one thing is for sure: they have a CBDC coming. They have the digital euro.
Monero is currently not accessible on any exchange in France, in Europe. Is that true or no?
Well,
I know it's
no.
delisted from Kraken.
You can go on Havino and you can access it.
Of course. I'm saying centralized exchange.
That's a good question. Like I've been saying this for a long time. It's only a matter of time until it gets delisted everywhere, especially in Europe. They're they're cracking down on it. That's for sure.
Yeah, it seems like there's kind of been like a sort of direction shift between the U.S. and Europe, where the U.S. is actually.
Oh wait,
starting
we have Andy Fitch.
Yeah,
I'm
we
gonna
do have
bring
Andy.
him up.
Can you bring him up?
Yeah, Nihilist, you did a great job. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate all the work you're doing, and this is obviously out of your passion for being pro privacy tech. Obviously, you're always welcome to come up on the stage, and I appreciate you getting the word out to people about XMR Bazaars. Kind of including that is your list of things that you think important utility for people to use that are trying to use these tools in the best way. So appreciate all your work, man. You're always welcome to come up and keep us updated on what you're putting out there.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, super cool project. I'll definitely check it out. And yeah, that's some cool work you're doing.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Nihilist.
All right. Andy, thanks for jumping up. Appreciate it.
Hi, thanks. It's a pleasure to meet you all. And it's a pity that Nihilist already left, because as a friend's people, maybe he has something to say a little bit more. But you say you have not that much time. I hope you hear me well. So I jump directly.
We hear you. We can bring Nihilist back up for a second or two if he needs to, if you have a question for him. But go ahead.
Okay. At first, I'm a German. I don't know how to founder of a company who simply say I'm a crypto entrepreneur. I consult people about cryptocurrency, private smartphones, and so on. And you wrote this article about this friend's law draft or draft law, and I dig a bit into it, and I share my screen for you so we can talk about this.
Awesome.
I don't know.
Yeah, let us know what's going on there. Is it what it seems?
No, I don't think so. That's
okay.
Something I can tell you. Great. Okay, that is the German version that don't help you. That is the France version that won't help us all. But just to see, this is the segment where we are talking about, and now we're going to translate it into the great English version. DeepL is a very great translator. I really appreciate it and I love it.
Agreed.
Great. Okay, and now we see here, all about is the custom code of France. So there you can say some things about how money travels through the country, comes into the country and can leave the country, and how some people transact in the country. So if you visit this article, this is the interesting part. It's article 415.1, and we can take a look at the code. Oh no, the page is gone. Ah, no, here it is. Okay, that's the French version. And I don't know, I guess you can't see. Oh, okay, great. The article says, okay, we think, the state thinks you do something illegal. And as long as you can't prove that you didn't do something illegal, you are guilty. So they reverse the legal burden of proof. So I have now to prove that I'm innocent.
Guilty until proven innocent, essentially.
That's what I say. And if you take a look here, they just bring it to anonymous cryptocurrencies and they bring it to mixers for transparent currencies. That's totally correct. But now it's interesting. When you have a usual business, like me as a consultant, or the bakery or a grocery store, whatever, we all have to create and receive receipts or receipts. I don't know how to pronunciate it right.
Receipts. Yep.
Thank you. And there you can say, well, look there, I can prove I have made this payment because I got something, and that's the reason why I got this money. And oh, I have to send this money because I have here an invoice what I need to pay, or which I need to pay. And that's the simple trick of this law. It is not a real nightmare, but in a world perspective, it is this sort of
so how will this affect Monero users living in France? Like what would if they were to abide by this, like how could this enter into their lives, and what way are they going to see this? Where they may be asked for like proof of funds, like where did you get?
Usually custom codes belong only to companies or to very rich people, which are usually viewed as an entrepreneur. But if you just a normal guy who go to work day for day, 24/7 or 24/5, this law may not interest you. It doesn't bother you in any manner. So,
okay, so it's not a banning of Monero and privacy crypto tools for normal people to use.
There is a really hard, even in the Monero community, a very hard belief, which is wrong, that Monero is illegal or will be illegal in some months or years, whatever. But that is totally wrong, because if they really want to ban anonymous currencies like Monero, just for proving I like Monero.
I like that shirt. Very nice.
Thanks. Just for they had already banned Monero with MiCAR. MiCAR is this huge European regulation about cryptocurrencies. Yeah, it's markets in crypto assets regulation. That's the long name, and they just say, "Oh, you are a custodian. You're not allowed to use anonymous cryptocurrencies under certain circumstances." Hard to pronunciate for German people, trust me. If you now jump into this, what the law really says is, please use a non-custodial wallet. So I say, thank you, European Union, for making these laws, because it's so hilarious. It's so late, I'm sorry. So I really don't think that they want ban Monero.
And so how about Monero just being listed on centralized exchanges? Are exchanges legally allowed to list and sell Monero?
No, and not in Europe. If you have maybe Kraken, whatever, has at the moment a European country, European or German company which deals.
Oh, Kraken, you're saying? Kraken?
Yeah, yes. Thank you. The big exchange with
right. They delisted Monero in Europe.
Yes, and they will keep it like this because they don't interested in some heavy legal disputes with the European.
And it's really the MiCA regulations that force them to do that. Yeah. And so,
in connection with the TOFA,
does there just need to be, you think, regulatory clarity, and it needs to be shown that it actually really isn't illegal for them to list Monero, and or is it actually illegal for them to list Monero?
It's hard. If you're in Germany, there will come a German law which says it is prohibited or illegal to list anonymous cryptocurrencies. So for the German market, it is totally clear it will become illegal for a CASP, a crypto asset service provider, or a custodian to use, list, accept, or do whatever with Monero. It's illegal. But if you are a bakery, if you are a company, whatever, they say use it. Done.
So yeah, it's kind of similar to New York, effectively.
Yeah.
Right? It's perfectly legal to accept Monero, to spend Monero. peer-to-peer. And obviously there's a lot of arguments why that's a good thing, because it just pushes people to use Monero in the best way possible. How do you see things though playing out in Europe, kind of on a, in the coming years with regards to Monero?
The European Union is a nightmare from perspective of from the perspective of regulation, from politics. It's just a nightmare. Most days, I can't say too much because your enemies listen all the time. What I want to say is, if we watch this from a role perspective, all what we're seeing, this totally surveillance, this growing force or these growing demands of control from side of the state, it just says we are. I don't know the English word. It's something like failing state is the word. Just European is degrading or decheesing or whatever it says in English, and there have to be a new system, and they're fighting against the new system is upcoming, and that's what we're seeing now. But about banning Monero in general or anonymous cryptocurrencies, I personally think that will never happen, because they done something very stupid from my perspective, but good for us. The constitutions of the Western states guarantees property, and when they listed these anonymous cryptocurrencies in general as a financial instrument, they gave them a really high rank of property. So they say, oh, sorry, we can't ban something because it would be against our constitution. And breaking law is some common in Europe, but breaking a constitution is way more hard. They need something like Corona or a really big war, and then they can do it. So that's my statement to this point.
All right, interesting. How do you feel about the adoption of Monero in general in Europe, I guess in Germany, Nihilist in France? I mean, do you see it growing, staying stagnant?
Cryptocurrencies in general. Germany is a very lazy, or in technical terms, a lagging state. The most people here are happy with cash.
Right, but it's a big cash, right? People are used to using cash, so you would think they'd want some digital form of that. Like they understand cash in Germany.
Usually, if you come with something like Bitcoin, they say, technical bullshit, I don't understand, what is this? And they're not interested in. But if you tell them, well, your cash is gonna go in a few years because government bans it because they own this money, it's not yours, then they start to get interested. If you then say there is a form of digital cash, they get really big ears and want to listen further. Like Nihilist say before, you need a strong why, then you need a what, and at least an how. But if you say there is something like Bitcoin or whatever, then you say it's transparent. Everybody with your address can see what you are doing and will see what you are doing in future. The most normal people say, go away with this. I don't want this. And afterwards,
it's good instincts.
Usually people react like this. Or if I have some consultants in front of a lot of people, I don't know the English word, then the folk is very shocked if I say, well, look here, that's a Bitcoin address, and here you see the statement, and so on. They're really shocked. And then they are really like craving for Monero, even if they don't know Monero exists. But a few sites later, I say, well, here's Monero, use it, it's great. And some people love this wow effect. But to your question at the beginning, it is slow. The acceptance or the growing acceptance is very slow.
Do you think we could get something like an XMR Bazaar to start to grow in Germany? Get people to start using it peer to peer, realizing
Yes.
that it's cash because they understand cash. It's really just a marketing They need to know that cash is going to be eliminated and that this is the replacement.
At first, you need people who really understand that a government could be problematic. Like our German law or law enforcement show his lovely nature during the corona pandemic or whatever, and was really harsh to people, control people, surveil people, folks, and so on. And like 30% of the people say, no, we don't want this. They realized the state is not our friend. And I think these 30% will be ready to accept something like cash, but digital. Yes. There is a market and something like XMR Bazaar. Yes.
It's good to hear. Jack saying, I heard there's a German guy from Cake Wallet running meetups in Germany. That's cool. That's good to know. Do you know of any meetups that are happening, Monero-related meetups? Do you see that ever going down in Germany?
Yeah. I know who's meant, but I know who is very into privacy, so I don't mention his name here.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right, man. Andy, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate you jumping on. Anything else you want to get out there? Anything you want to shill? Anything you want to let people know about that you're working on, or
Every privacy focused guys out there, I love you all. Douglas, it was a pleasure to be here. I hope sometimes later again, and have a nice day or evening. I don't know.
Thanks for coming on, man, and giving us some context.
Yeah, Andy,
with that. It's really great.
It was
Thanks, man.
fantastic. Yeah, we were looking for a better understanding of that. Thank you so much, Andy. You're always welcome to jump on anytime. Greatly appreciate that.
Just
Have a good
asking.
night. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye.